everyone, welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today I have with us, he's a director, and he has a movie out that's called Dead Zone: Rise of Darkness. He also has an action flick in the works, and it's called Delta Code. I have with us Carmelo Rosario Ramos. Carmelo, welcome to the Horror Room.
Well, thank you for having me. And I hope everybody's okay. And let's do this.
Let's do this, man. All right, so let's jump into it. Tell us a little bit about Dead Zone: Rise of Darkness.
So that's so Rise of Darkness. It's a change game my life as a producer and a director because it first started like a 24-minute short film for Luzca Film Festival, but then after having that the success, people watching in the festival. Other producers talked to me and said like, "Hey, I want that short film to be a little more longer," so I extended for 45 minutes. Then other people start to say, and they say, I want you to make it an hour." So we started to showing the movie around Puerto Rico for a lot of almost more than 10 times around all our island, and it was a big success. And for our independent group, we started with, let's say, 20 people. Now we're up to 150 people thanks to that song. And we get into it because it's a different type of zombie movie. It's a movie like it shows you how a person that wants to get out. It's not like a person that's like a nerd that people make fun of. He wants to change his life or he create this virus, but then a lot of bad stuff trying to happen. Then the government takes hand of it. So it's a movie when it shows like the island is sacrificed to test something, but within a small group of RTs. RTs called Rebel Troops. It's like a mercenary group that decides to defend the island and try to destroy the virus to not go around the world. So it's a story that have a lot of side stories. Also, they will take you to one same finish, one same goal. And after the success of that short film, that turns into a feature film. And a lot of companies just talk to me. They want me to start March the second one. So it's a zombie movie that is the zombies are not the typical zombies. It's like a mix of all types of zombies: intelligent zombies, normal zombies, everywhere, everything.
Now, is it hard as a filmmaker? You have a short film, and now you're expanding into a full length feature. Was that a hard thing to do?
Yeah, it's hard to do because when we did the short film was in 2022. We finished the film in that year to compete in 23, but then when the people start to see in 2023, then in 2024 it start to get to the film festival. So it become hard because now we grow. We are independent group to start growing. So now you have um, the new parts that are included are new parts when I do new things, new equipment, new everything. So you will see like a little bit of a difference. I try to maintain the same style, but once you start growing, a lot of knowledge, you start to do things like, all right, I want to do this type of angle, everything. So the movie, it doesn't show the difference, but me as an eye of the director, I know when something is from 2024 and 2023. But it was hard because um, if somebody telling you that your art, you have to include something more. It's like changing your vision, but at the same time, you have to think like, all right, I'm going to, you know, uh, here and try to do something because there's something there. But people probably seeing things that probably I don't see. So when I started seeing it, I don't regret it because after I decided to turn into, it's like my little Frankenstein.
Now, listen. I love zombie movies. I grew up on zombie movies. I grew up on the George A. Romero stuff. I grew up, even the Return of the Living Dead. Now, and it seems like zombies or the zombie subgenre is getting kind of a resurgence. I mean, it kind of died off a little bit. It came out and then it died off. But it seems like it's making a comeback. Now, was it tough? Because there's tons of zombies movie out there. Was it tough to make a zombie movie that's a little original with your own little spice and flair to it?
The things that helped me a little bit is yes, and I believe that you're right. You see it this year with 28 years later. They're trying to come back with the zombie style movies. And the thing is that here in the island in Puerto Rico, everybody is used to the comedy movies.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to break that barrier, trying to bring action, horror, zombie. So the reason people like that movie is because it's something different, because it's something that people are not used to. So I say everybody here in Puerto Rico are focused on comedy, the double hard jokes, how you call that, dark humor sometimes in the movie. But in my case, what makes the difference is that I can make you an action film movie, zombie movie, horror, thriller, everything, but always have between the, let's say, the movie can have really bloody or everything, but I always have a way to put a positive message in the movie. So I believe it was kind of hard, and it was easy here in the island because nobody has taken that risk. There's a lot of directors they're trying to do it. It's been years trying to do it, but I believe the one thing that defines me is that I got one team, that one line. That line is I don't care what people say. I don't care if I will do it anyway, and I will see the result. Because sometimes people they got a dream, they want to do a dream, but they're scared of what people may say if you don't do it the right way. So I decided, like, you know what? This is what I want. I will do it. It's my vision. And even if it's something new in the island, I don't care. Everything in the world started with somebody taking a risk.
Exactly.
So that I took that risk, and a lot of a lot of investors are coming. A lot of people are saying like, "Hey, I got this a brand of soda." Just tell us like, "Hey, you know what? We are do helping this area fashion model, but you know what? If you put out this model as an extra in the movie, we will pay you all the makeup for the song." So it's like if I don't take that risk, even though people are saying like, "Oh, zombie movies all the time, all the time." Yeah, but you see some movies, let's say in the states, other parts of the world, but you have to evaluate in your area, And this time here, I decided to go against comedy. I don't have nothing wrong and nothing against comedy, but I am 36 years old, and all I see is comedy in Puerto Rico. So I'm trying to do something different for my island, and I believe not only here. I want to show people, want to be an example worldwide. I know a lot of independent filmmakers because I spent a year in Utah, and there's a lot of people that want independent, low budget guys that want to do movies. But I know that probably there's rules. There's apart from us here in Puerto Rico, we're kind of like you can do a lot of stuff underground. United States, they have to get a lot of permits. So I believe probably they kind of scared with the permits, but here there's always a way to work it out. Like in my case, people say, "How do you film in all those places?" Contact the owners of all those places. Try to make friends. Try to let them know who you are, and as long as they give you the permission, you're good to say. As long as you gain their confidence, they say, "You know what? I want to help you with the movie. Go to my, let's say, go to my farm. Film there. Don't worry. I will take care of everything. Don't worry." So I want to be that example to people, not only in filmmakers. So everything in life, if you want to do something, do it. Just remember. So if nobody in your area or you haven't seen nobody doing what you want to do, be the first one to do it. Don't wait till somebody do it first, because then you became. It's like people can mistake like you're doing a copy. So let's just start. Don't be scared of doing. That's my way of doing it.
Now the island of Puerto Rico, it's kind of interesting that you say comedy is a big thing there, because when it comes to horror, it it attacks that primal fear that we have.
Yeah.
It's a real life. Now, with the island of Puerto Rico, I've actually been once, and there's been a lot of tragedy, over the years at Puerto Rico, and to make a zombie movie on that is an interesting concept.
Yeah. Yeah. It's no. It depends. Like I don't know if I can. How can let me explain this way. I like to use a lot of psychology in my work. Like say like, all right, there's a lot of tragedy in the moment, a lot of bad things happening. Politics, people dying, and a lot of negative stuff. But when you manage to see the positive, like my independent group is a way to help the community. So every actors and actresses, I am developing because they're all the actors you will see in my movies. Now 50% are real actors. The extra from other movies, they're trying to come to me because they notice me. But the other 50% are young women, young boys, and grandpas, and everything that I give opportunity are people that have that dream, but never, nobody has ever tell them, come on, you can do it. So the way that people know me here in Puerto Rico is like the guy that helps the community using the art of acting. Like so. Even though it's a film about zombies, the government attacking the same man and all that, I'm giving opportunities to people that are in depression and they say like, I need a way to get out of my house. What I can do? Hey, give you the form of art. Come on, don't acting. They can interpret something and they will love it. So there's something new in your mind that you can now distract it from those negative stuff. So the way that I use the art, the art of acting and the filmmaking, all that is a way that I'm trying to make sure that the community gets served first. Like if I'm doing this, I have to make sure that I'm helping somebody. I'm trying to make sure that, and that's why people say like, "Hey, Carmelo, how can you, with zero budget, can this do this type of movies?" And I was like, "Well, because people trust me. I'm open book. I help people. So other people that say like, "Hey, I want to help the community." There's that guy right there, and I can help between him. So I got a lot of people that were suicidal, and they now changed their life. I got people that didn't know what to do with their lives, within the studies or everything. So they managed people that think that their career died. Now they renew their career with all this. So I believe that is what makes me different than other groups because I'm not a film agency. I am not a like a talent agency. I am just an independent guy that loves art, creates art, and I managed to get a lot of people, that they have they need something in their lives to develop, and I do them and I help them. And now actors and extras, from other movies, they don't get. This is my little boy, it's
Hey, that's
Alejandro. So
Alejandro.
actors from the island, they always are extras in the movie, and sometimes they don't get the opportunity to play big roles. So now they come to me, they get casting all that, and I give them that opportunity. So I believe that is what makes the difference. That type of way that I use the tools of filming to help the community.
Now, you were discussing that you're in the works of a sequel to Dead Zone. Now,
Yeah.
was that something that you already had in mind when you were coming up with the full length feature idea of the first one? That this is going to branch off into a sequel, was the response so positive for the first one you were like, okay, I have to go ahead and continue the story?
So yes, I I always write a movie, because I am. This is the funny part. I am the writer, the editor, I am the actor. I do everything in the movie. Now I don't have nobody to help me. So when I write something, I always try to give like there's some probable possibility of a sequel. So I got like subtitles next to it that I never touched. But I was thinking about making this song too, like in 4 years, 5 years. But it was so much energy positive that everybody was like, "Hey man, I need you to do that song too now. Forget about the other project. Do it now because now is the your that topic is hot." So March we're starting a big day of filming when we I think we're going to have over 30 zombies and everything. So we have a big day of filming, and that would not happen if I didn't if I didn't have that opportunity to show my film in Luzca Film Festival.
And I brought up at the beginning, you're also working on an action movie, which is called Delta Code. That's pretty interesting. But first, I'm gonna have some questions about that. But first, tell us a little bit about Delta Code.
Yes, Delta Code is like it's like a tribute to a web series that I did on YouTube called Delta Force PR, and that series was the first YouTube series that I did it on my own channel, and was give me name. People started to notice like, hey, who is that guy that even though he's not doing a pretty good job with the camera, he's doing a lot of episodes on YouTube, and those episodes start to show on TV. People, channels call me, programs like, hey, I'm willing to give you 10 minutes every episode in my show if you show it on my channel and on TV. So Delta Force gave me the opportunity to start my career. People know that I've been doing it from 2010, but Delta Force became this series. Delta Soul PR became this series that has a little bit of everything. And I believe one of the seasons, season 2, begins with Maria, because we were going to do a big premiere for the last episode of season 1 because we were on TV and all that. And Maria destroyed everything, the TV show go away, everything go away. So when we started back with the season 2 in 2017, when we managed to get because when when I was doing that, I was not thinking about, I'm going to make a career of this or anything. So I was doing it for fun. When I started doing, a rescue story for this and that, and try to bring the disaster of Maria in Puerto Rico, 2017, the name we start getting, back the energy, like people starting to believe in us. And even now, when I see then compared to now, even though now I do wow, good work with camera and everything is unbelievable. Those episodes show me that even though I didn't give you like 100% good job, people love the stories. So what I did is perfection. I try to perfect the way that I do directing, and then starting 2023 until now, it's make a big difference. And that's how Delta Code became to life. It's like a small tribute. It's a feature film that has all the topics of those 5 seasons in 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's like try to create like a tribute and managed to get back some of the big actors from the series. The antagonist from the movie, and she's like the same antagonist from the TV series. And so that's why Delta Code became. And I didn't know Delta Code would get this hot also, because I said like, well, people know me because people know me because I love I do a lot of projects about tactical stuff, wars, and all that. So I thought that people would say like, "Oh man, another project." But when people start to see all the pictures I put on the Facebook and all my pages, they became interesting. Like, hey, wait a minute, that that story is interesting. So now we're expecting to try, once we finish this movie. One of our main goal is to independently put that movie on theater here in Puerto Rico. Put it on theater, then fight for the streaming.
Now, is it tough as a filmmaker, because most filmmakers is stick to one genre? Is it tough to go from action to horror to action to horror?
It's tough in the way that you have to try to, let's say, if I'm doing a horror movie, then I change to a a drama, thriller, romance stuff, I have to make sure that I don't mix the action from this movie doesn't have the same action in this
Yeah.
one because then it's all the same. So it's sometimes a little difficult because I have to like take like a couple of hours to realize get into me like say, all right, how can I make something different? How can because we are a group, so how can I make the actors that made that song be different interpreting Delta code because I don't want people to think there's like a copy paste from So I try to mix up everybody. So that's the hard part because since we are a big group, it's not that we do casting. But what I say, but since I have group that I developed myself, so I have to make sure that those talents that get always giving it 100% get opportunities in the other movies. So the hard part is trying not to make a copy paste from a character to another movie.
Yes, I can imagine because I mean, you look at a lot of filmmakers; they stick to one genre because I feel like that's their bread and butter. But when it's done right, every once in a while you'll see a horror director. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I mean Eli Roth. He did Death Wish, which was an action movie, and he stepped out of his comfort zone. And sometimes when it's done, but when it's done right, it can be an amazing thing to see a filmmaker from one genre cross over and makes it something equally as good.
Yeah, that happens a lot with when people only knows me for the action films
Mhm.
because the action films actually in the Luzca Film Festivals in Puerto Rico, I always finish nominated, in the top five. So when I did the horror one, so it's like, all right, that's action, but how are they going to do the zombies? And when they start seeing the zombies from the movie, when they start to saying like, oh, that guy really is getting help from people. So the thing is that the transition could be a little bit, hard. Like I told you, like try to not to make the same, to look alike. But we're never gonna be perfect. Sometimes we're
Yeah.
going to. There's always this character. It's like let's talk about Michael Bay a little bit. Michael Bay always used the slow motion. People
Yes.
criticize him a lot because of the slow motion. In my case, is that I like to do a lot of. I always try to put a positive message, no matter what topic of the movie, even though it's for 3 minutes. I give that positive message. So when people see that song, when I was in the line, the festival, people's like, "Man, that's something different. I didn't know you can put a good message, a positive message in a horror film with all those people dying, all that world, all that bad stuff happening in the movie, and you still manage to put a fake a fate message in that story using a zombie." So that's the part. That's the part that people didn't realize that when you do the creativity, you can do anything because that's what I said. That all the zombies in that song are different because there's zombies, the regular zombies, there's the super zombies, and the super zombies are the ones that still have a little bit of conscience. And that's how I put the positive message. And then positive message came at the end of the movie, and people were like, "Man, that was good. I wanna congratulations people that didn't didn't believe I can manage to do that." So what I'm it is zombie movies. I believe is one of the topics that what will make it interesting is that you put a little bit originality of you. Everybody can do a zombie movie, but if you can bring something different to the plate, even though that all zombies eat people. Yeah, right. All right. All zombies are slow. Well, you can bring the super zombie. All right. There are other movies that World War C. They got super zombies running around. All right, but I will create my super zombies not the same as that. So there's always a way to create something new for the fans, and that song too will bring another type of zombie that I will know that it will be great and it will be a great presentation for the public.
Love it. Now, one final question:
Yeah.
as a horror filmmaker, how important do you think it is right now in modern horror to have excellent character development in a horror movie on top of the gore, the monsters, the scariness? How important is character development?
So character development, I'm going to give you an honest answer, as honest I can be, because I have seen a lot of movies the last year. The trying to do horror, war, and all that, and I believe that we are missing a lot of that of character development. You have to I believe we're missing that direction, that creation, that character that's going to make a difference. Because let's say I saw, even though it's not a zombie movie, but this horror film like Abigail, it's all they put comedy. There's the one that said with the clown. There's always killing Christmas, the big war one that people get like.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that the gore is okay. People love gore and all that, but I believe that if you can create a good story with a character that really have a reason to be alive in the movie, not other than seeing the killings, not other to see try to survive everything. And a couple of years ago, one movie they tried to reboot Resident Evil and game the same style, the Mansion one, but we're missing that. The creativity, the development. I believe that we're too poor in that. We have to create a good story to make sure that zombie movies get the respect that they need. Horror movies, not so any horror movies, they need to get the respect because horror movies they're great. But when I go, and this is not to offend nobody in the festivals, if I get misunderstood, sorry for that. But when I go to the competition and I see horror movies, I feel like nowadays people like, oh, let's put blood, let's kill people, let's do this, but they forget about the story. They forget about the development. Who is that guy? Why is that guy alive? Why the breeder stopped? And that's why I believe is the missing link. But they think can change. Think can change.
Because and the reason I asked that because the question is because if you look in the '80s and the '90s, there was no character development in the horror movies. It was just
Yeah.
Jason running through killing people. But it seems like over time, when it came to modern horror, some of the best horror movies have characters that you relate to. You can, or even the protagonist or the villain in the movie, you can kind of relate to the villain, and that's when you're doing it. When I think you're knocking out of the ballpark, when the audience like myself, I can kind of relate to the villain or the killer, whether it be the zombie, Michael Myers, whoever. When I can relate to them, that's when, as a filmmaker, you are knocking out of the park.
Yeah, and now that we're talking about that, it's funny because today I was talking to the antagonist of Delta Code, and I was doing the editing, and then I said, like, you know what? I'm feeling sorry for the guy who's the bad guy. I don't think he's not a real bad guy, because when you start to see the movie, and even you as the creator, you start seeing the process, start seeing everything, and that's what I think that you're hitting the right spot when you manage to identify with somebody. You don't have to do it. People say, like, that movies are movies. You don't have to identify with it, but what makes a movie great is like to say, like, oh, believe I'm rooting for that guy. I don't care if it is a bad guy. I don't care if I know it's a movie he's going to lose at the end. So I'm rooting for that guy because he got something that I know. I know what he's feeling. I know what he's passing through. And when I started seeing the editing Delta Code today, I was like, you know what? I feel sorry for the bad guy. I don't know. I don't think he's the really bad guy. So I believe people will have this concert controversy. They're saying like the good guy is really not that good guy because if you know why the bad guy is trying to do this to this guy because this guy did something to the other guy. So that's when that feeling is that I need that I think is that we need in the movies, to make sure that people feel like the controversy to identify. And horror film is like people are always used to see, let's say, I know probably changed a little bit with all the new era and all that, but before was every blonde woman will die. So it's like first with a bad decision. So now that's what I want to say with this is that we have to make horror movies that are a little make it hard to be predictable
Exactly.
because jump scares are becoming too predictable, and now you prepare because if I don't want to be scared, I'm thinking about okay, somebody's going to jump now, so you prepare yourself, so it's not the same reaction. Probably it's me talking like probably I don't know if I'm saying what I'm saying have any sense, but I believe in the magic of preparing people to something they are not prepared and they will enjoy.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Now, Carmelo, where can everyone find you and your work?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook as Carmelo Rosario Ramos, and you can there we got a fan page called Lone Wolf Studios. Lone Wolf Studios, you will see there our pictures, everything we work, all the projects, everything we have put in the links, and our channel on YouTube is called Lone Wolf Studios as well. There we have the last short film that competed in Luzca Film Festival that we finished on the nomination with a music called The Last Call.
Okay. And listen, everyone, down in the description is the link to Lone Wolf Studios YouTube page. So please check them out and give them a subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Carmelo, it's been a blast having you on, man.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and it was great chatting with you. And I really loved the experience, and I hope to see you back in the future. We're talking again.
You're listening. Welcome. Come on anytime, my friend. Anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce, and that's my man Carmelo. We'll see you next time. Take care.